But Python can be taught to children in middle school.
Yes, you heard that right. Learning Python is not as hard as you think. That was the god of Python, the famous Guido van Rossum, the creator of Python programming, in an interview at the world's most prestigious debating society, the Oxford Union. If you're trying to learn Python in 2025, I have this to say. Congratulations, and I'm sorry for you. Congratulations, because you're about to enter a world where AI can write code, debug it, and even make sarcastic comments about your variable names, faster than you can spell syntax error. Why I'm sorry for you? Because you've been bombarded with those LinkedIn posts and YouTube videos showing 14-year-olds building revolutionary AI startups with 3 lines of code, while your most impressive tech accomplishment is finally figuring out how to connect your TV to Wi-Fi without getting kicked off the couch. And now you're wondering if you've missed the coding train completely. Spoiler alert, you haven't, but the game has definitely changed. Stick around, because by the end of this video, I'll show you how to go from what's a variable to building actual useful Python applications faster than ever before. And trust me, it's nothing like what we were doing even just 2 years ago. When I started learning Python back in 2018, it took me about 2 years to become somewhat competent. 2 freaking years. And that was with dedicated study, countless Stack Overflow visits, and projects that made me question my will to live. I still have nightmares about indentation errors. Today, you could reach the same level in about 3 months, maybe less if you're not distracted by TikTok every 5 minutes like I am. But wait, I can already hear some of you typing furiously in the comments, why even bother learning Python when ChatGPT 5 can code better than most humans? Great question. Hypothetical commenter with surprisingly good critical thinking skills. In fact, let's address what might be the most mind-blowing stat of this entire video. Or not. In 2024, OpenAI revealed that 80% of Fortune 500 companies use AI to generate code daily. That's right. The same people who can't figure out how to unmute themselves on Zoom are now letting AI write mission-critical code. What could possibly go wrong? Here's why you still need to learn Python, even in our AI-saturated reality. AI can write the code, but you need to know if that code will accidentally launch nuclear missiles or just print "Hello World." Python remains the #1 language for AI, data science, and automation in 2025. And here's an interesting moment for you. In 2024, a major financial company deployed an AI-generated trading algorithm without proper review. Care to guess what happened next? I'll tell you after we get through the basics. You're welcome. Want to know where most people get it wrong? Learning to code isn't about memorizing syntax. It's about understanding the logic, knowing what's possible, and being able to fix AI's inevitable screw-ups. Let me put it this way. Would you trust a self-driving car designed by someone who's never driven?
Things in Python that you just cannot repeat in a statically compiled language.
That's what using AI to code without understanding Python is like. All right, enough philosophy. Let's get practical. If I were starting from zero today, here's exactly how I'd learn Python. And no, it doesn't involve watching 400 hours of tutorials while convincing yourself you're learning. First things first, forget fancy setups. When I started, I wasted weeks setting up the perfect development environment. I had 3 different Python versions, 2 IDEs, and a partridge in a pear tree. What a colossal waste of time that was. The average beginner spends 12+ hours on environment setup, which to be honest, it would be time better spent coding. A 2024 Stack Overflow survey found that 43% of beginners quit learning to code because of environment setup issues. Don't let yourself be part of the 43%. Ever wonder why coding boot camps can charge $15,000 for a 3-month program? It's not the content, it's because they save you from the special hell that is environment setup. Currently, you have 2 easy options. Option 1, go to replit.com, sign up, and start coding immediately. No setup, no installation, just pure Python from day 1. If you're building anything serious, you'll eventually need a local setup. But for your first month, Replit is to coding what training wheels are to biking. Option 2, VS Code plus GitHub Copilot. Yes, it costs money, but hear me out. The time you'll save is worth more than the subscription. Much more. And by the way, stick around until the end where I'll share a little-known trick to get GitHub Copilot for free, legally. No, it doesn't involve identity theft or moving to a country without copyright laws. Let me be blunt. If you're serious about learning, the $10 to $20 a month for Copilot will save you hundreds of hours of frustration. Oh, and remember that financial company I mentioned? Their AI-generated algorithm lost $30 million in 17 minutes before someone literally pulled the plug on the server. The coder who approved it still has his LinkedIn profile set to open to work. Shocking, I know. So now that you've got your environment setup options sorted out, here's what your learning roadmap should look like. Phase 1, the foundations. First, variables, data types, and basic operations. Second, control flow, if-else, loops. Third, functions and modules. Last but not least, and the part we love the most, basic error handling. But here's the kicker. Don't spend more than 2 to 3 weeks on this.
Again? Seriously?
Seriously. Studies show long-term retention improves by 40% when beginners move to projects quickly. In the old days, like I'm talking about 2022, you'd spend months mastering these concepts before doing anything useful. You'd be able to explain Python's memory management model, but couldn't build a calculator without copying code. Today, get the basic idea and move on. The human brain retains only 10% of theoretical learning versus 90% of applied learning. And please, for the love of all things technological, don't fall into the certification trap. Nobody cares about your Introduction to Python certificate. That certificate and $5 will get you a coffee at Starbucks, and that's about it.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What they care about is what you've built and deployed. The proof is in the Python pudding, as absolutely no one says. Which leads me to the next phase. Phase 2, your first mini projects. First, build a simple web scraper, and yes, scraping Instagram counts. Want to hear a borderline cheating hack on doing a simple project and landing a 6-figure coding job? I'll tell you after I dissect all the phases you need. Second, create a basic data visualization. That doesn't look like a kindergarten art project. Third, make a simple automation tool, because life's too short to rename files manually. Lastly, deploy something, anything, to the cloud, and then brag about being a cloud engineer. And if you're thinking, wait, deploy to the cloud already? Isn't that advanced? It used to be, like how making a website used to require selling your soul to the HTML gods. But with services like Streamlit, Heroku, and Render, deploying Python apps is basically drag and drop now. And here's a dirty secret the Python gurus won't tell you. For your first 10 projects, your code will be garbage, absolute trash. Code so bad, it would make professional developers physically ill. And that's completely normal. But the takeaway is, get down and get dirty in writing code, as the sooner you do, the quicker you'll learn how to code well. And before we move to phase 3, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The absolute flood of Python tutorials online, which you might have watched hundreds of them already instead of coding, and hopefully this will be your last video. There are currently more Python tutorials on YouTube than there are actual Python developers in the world. Let that sink in, and while you do that, there is another Python video about to be released. But here's another WTF fact. Watching tutorials activates the same brain regions as actually doing the task. So your brain thinks you're learning, but you're not. It's like your brain is catfishing itself. Watching coding tutorials creates illusion of competence, mentioned in a Stanford study in 2023. Phase 3, specialization and real projects. Once you survive the basics, it's time for the intermediate level, aka the jungle. You'll meet strange creatures like object-oriented programming, file handling, and the mythical virtual environment. This is where you start writing code that looks less like a diary entry and more like actual software. And at this intermediate level, your roadmap looks like this. First, choose your development path, AI or ML, web dev, data analysis, or automation. Second, build one substantial project that isn't just a calculator or to-do app. Third, contribute to an open source project. Even fixing a typo counts. Seriously. Lastly, learn to review and improve AI-generated code, or as I call it, teaching robots not to be idiots. Deep learning happens here. By week 10, you should be building things that solve actual problems, not just tutorials. And I promise you'll hit a moment where you think, wait, am I actually becoming a Python developer? And the answer is yes, you devious little code monkey. Yes, you are, because it's not as hard as you thought.
Learning to program in Python is so much easier than learning to program in Java or Swift.
Here's the secret sauce of modern Python learning. It's called the Build Debug Improve loop. But that secret has been optimized with AI where the loop is build, let AI debug, understand, improve, repeat. Let's break this down. First, build something even if it's bad, and trust me, it will be bad. Build a real project. It doesn't have to change the world. Could be a bot that sends you compliments, or a script that reminds you to stop scrolling Reddit. Second, when it breaks, not if, when, ask AI to debug it.
So debugging is trying to figure out why your code doesn't run the way you thought it should run.
Also, you should know that 68% of coding errors from AI involve logic flaws humans could easily spot. Third, understand why it was broken. This is where actual learning happens. Fourth, improve it yourself. No, not copy-paste. Actually improve it. Lastly, repeat until you have something that works or until you're questioning your life choices.
Because computer software, unlike the typical recipe for a cherry pie, is so complex that you don't get all of it right at once.
This loop is dramatically faster than how we learned just a few years ago. And by dramatically, I mean you'll accomplish in days what used to take months. That's not hyperbole. That's the legitimate power of having AI as your coding buddy. 2024 MIT study shows that AI-assisted learning reduced Python mastery time by 71%. Remember when debugging meant staring at error messages for hours, crying softly into your coffee, and questioning your life choices? Yeah, those days are mostly gone. I say mostly because Python will still find creative ways to make you question your intelligence. It's just that now you have AI to validate that it's not entirely your fault. By the way, here's another mind-boggling fact. The average developer spends 70% of their time debugging and only 30% writing new code. That's like spending more time fixing your car than actually driving it. With AI assistance, that ratio is closer to 40-60, which is a significant improvement in giving you back time to watch more TikTok. Think about what that means for your learning curve. But here's the part no one tells you about learning Python. The dip, aka where 99% quit. Let's be real, motivation dies. At some point, you'll hit the dip. You'll feel dumb. You'll wonder if this is worth it. You'll Google, can I sue Python for emotional damage?
Emotional damage!
Good news, this is normal. Bad news, most people quit here, but not you. What happens when you push through? You come out the other side dangerously competent. This phase is the confidence curve, or as psychologists call it, the Dunning-Kruger effect for people who think semicolons are optional. Now you're dangerous. You're building apps, calling APIs, creating machine learning models. It's like Minecraft, except instead of creepers, you get 404 errors and existential dread. Let me address the million-dollar question. Will learning Python even matter once AI can generate entire applications from a prompt? Absolutely, it matters. AI won't replace programmers. Programmers using AI will replace those who don't. That's the most important point. AI isn't replacing programmers. It's replacing the tedious parts of programming. By 2026, an estimated 80% of code will be AI-generated, but human programmers will still be essential. The skills that matter now are 1. Knowing what to build, the why behind the code. 2. Designing systems that solve real problems, not just look, I made a button that changes color. 3. Verifying and improving AI-generated code, because AI is like that intern who's really confident but completely wrong. 4. Understanding when AI is wrong, which happens a lot, like embarrassingly often. And now, as promised, here's how to get GitHub Copilot for free. If you have a .edu email address or can verify student status, GitHub gives you the entire GitHub Pro Suite for free, including Copilot. Even if you're taking a single community college class, you're welcome. If you're not a student, there's also a 60-day free trial that you can accidentally forget to cancel. I'm legally required to say I didn't tell you that. And here's that trick that's borderline cheating for landing you a 6-figure job. Build something that solves a problem for the company you want to work for. then send it to their hiring manager. I've seen people with zero experience land $120,000 jobs with this approach, but shh, don't tell everyone or it won't work anymore. So, should you learn Python? Absolutely, unequivocally yes. But learn it the right way, with AI as your co-pilot, not your replacement. Because, let's be honest, if AI completely replaces programmers, we probably have bigger problems to worry about, like killer robots. Or worse, AI-generated Instagram influencers. Before I go, here's one final stat that will blow your mind. By 2026, 85% of businesses will require Python skills for all technical roles. That's right, not just for developers, but for marketers, designers, product managers, and probably your office dog too. The digital divide is no longer between those who use computers and those who don't. It's between those who can make computers do what they want and those who can't. If this video helped you, smash that like button like it insulted your mother, and check out our other videos on tech skills that still matter in the AI age. Trust me, there are more than you think. Oh, and drop a comment telling me what you're building with Python. I read every comment, even the ones calling me an idiot. Especially those, actually. They're usually the most entertaining.